Will Dawkins, you slive, you. I can't believe what my Wizards just pulled off. Can't believe it. We're going to break it all down, but yes, AD is in DC. Was not expecting this to come through my phone today. And we got a lot to discuss because the NBA is about to be on notice. We thought this rebuild was going to take years and years and years and many more years. Mm-mm. The time is now. With this move that we pulled off, time is now. Let's get into it. Man, definitely got me today, man. So I'm at work doing my thing, waiting to leave, waiting to get up out of there. And I get a text from Mom Dukes, man. Usually I'm the one that's kind of keeping my mom's up to date with sports and what's going on with the DC sports. We both into, all the DC sports teams. So, I'm at work, I'm a little busy, whatever. And I get a text. Text like, matter of fact, let me see what she was on. So she sent me the breaking news that AD was going to was coming to the crib. So of course, with all this AI going around, all these bots and all this fake stuff going on, trolls, I'm like, come on, like it's BS. I text her back, no way. She's saying yes with a thumbs up. So I'm like, let me go, because sometimes moms can be, what I mean, they believe anything. Some come across their screen and they just like going, falling for it. So I'm like, let me do a quick little search real quick. And hey, I couldn't believe it. Breaking news. 10-time NBA All-Star, future Hall of Famer, AD is traded to the Washington Wizards for 2 sticks of gum and a bottle of water. I mean, the fact that the Wizards did not have to give up any of their own picks. And I think that's the biggest factor in this is that, you know, this overhaul started back in 2023. And where we basically had to rip this thing down to the studs, man. We had to get rid of Bradley Beal's nasty contract, which was still a feat in itself. His contract was ugly, had a no trade clause. We know that means that he has to agree to the team that he's being traded to, which made that deal a lot more complicated. So we had to get through that, and to flip Bill and eventually flip Kyle Kuzma into all those little small pieces. We got draft picks. Let me pull up Bradley Bill's deal, because of course I'm not going to remember all this from the top of the dome. All right, back in 2023, We traded Bill and Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd, two bums and Bradley Bill. For Chris Paul, we had to flip him. Remember that? We had a little stint. I know y'all probably forgot. Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, 4 first round pick swaps in 24, 26, 28, and 30, and 6 second round picks. For us to flip Bill and Kuzma, mind you, Kuzma in that trade, when we traded Kuzma to the Bucks, that's where we got Middleton, some more draft picks and stuff was swapped. For us to flip those players and that ugly Bill contract into the team we have now, our young players. Mind you, we didn't have to trade away any of these young players that we just got. Alex Sard, Trey Johnson, Koulibaly, Kaishan. Nobody had to we didn't have to give up any of those young assets that we was picking up over the last 3 years. We keep our first round picks. Our first round picks, we still holding on to them. And yes, of course, we're still tanking. Why wouldn't we? Because if we can add a top, hopefully number one, because they've been fleecing us for the last couple of years. But we're not going to get into that. But if we could get a top 3 pick in this year's draft to add to Trey Young at the 1, now AD at the 4, you put Alex Sarr at the 5. Depending on who you draft, either at 2 or 3, and you still have young pieces. Don't Doesn't matter which one you pick. You can put Trey Johnson at 2 next year. If not, hey, he had to come off the bench if you could get a better 2. And there was also news that AD wasn't even our first choice. We knew we wanted a big man. Yes. There was reports that we went after Cat in New York, but I don't see New York giving up Cat right now. So there was reports that we kind of tried to reach out to New York and see if we could get him. Seems like every team was trying to get Giannis, but we knew Milwaukee was not going to come up off of him. But to get AD, and especially at this time, yes, he's injured right now. He injured his hand a couple months ago, but or not too long ago. But yes, he's not playing. Yes, it seems like he's always hurt. But when healthy, he's an automatic double-double. Automatic. He was averaging 23 and 12 roughly over the last few seasons when he plays a good amount of games. And the fact that we're trying to tank right now, him being injured and Trey Young being injured, we don't mind it. Take as long as you need, AD, because we don't need you right now. Trey Young, he's dealing with a multitude of injuries. But guess what? We don't need him right now. Why? We're still trying to develop our young players, but at the same time, we're not in no hurry to win this season. Because we want we want a high draft pick in this year's draft. So we're not going to risk that off, planning for the future, planning for next season. But hey, when October comes around next year, yes, a lot of teams are going to still be taking the Wizards lightly. They think the players come to Washington to die and, just end their careers here or just try to get a bag. I don't think that I think a lot of media people, fans that are not in the area, they believe that because they're not witnessing it. They haven't seen what Will Dawkins and his team has been doing over the last few years, making move after move, strategic. And all he was, hey, he's basically like, hey, just be patient. Be patient. You think Trey Young still not gonna be able to put up 20 plus on any given night, throwing lobs up to AD and Alex R at will? You got two almost 7 footers guarding the paint. Who's going in there? Alex R right now is averaging seems like 3 or 4 blocks a game. If you manage AD's time well next year, his playing time, give him some breaks. We ain't gonna call it that because people don't like that, but give him some rest a little bit at times. Don't overwork him. If you could get AD to get you 60 out of 82 games next year, playoffs. Playoffs. Because again, we have a deep team. You can afford next year with Trey Young at the point. You still have Alex Sard down low. You can afford to have one of your young guys play a game, start a game, and give 80, a night off. You can afford that. And don't really try to, wear him down early on in the season. Try to save him, towards the end of the season for the playoffs. We'll be able to afford that because we have a deep team. So, I mean, hey, I'm excited, man. If you are a Wizards fan and you was just laying dormant for the last few years, it's okay to come back now. It's okay to come back now. And this is the time where you will want to come back. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be really, really exciting next season. And I cannot wait. Because again, AD is going to be healthy, God willing. If nothing crazy happens in the summer. Trey Young is going to be healthy, well rested. Trey Young is already developing chemistry with the team now. You have AD come in and do the same as he's trying to, heal up. It's time. It is definitely time. And I was saying this the other day to someone. For whatever reason, DC sports teams cannot have the spotlight on them and have success. You know, when I even take it back to 2019 when the Nationals had their run, we wasn't really expected to win the World Series in 2019. If you could remember every single series that year, we was almost knocked out. The first series, we were down big in that wild card game, and we came back in the later innings and won. That entire um playoffs we it was tough, and no one expected the Nationals to win that season. I think Houston, I know we beat Houston and they were favored. And even when we had to beat the Dodgers, Dodgers were favored. Um, Now taking it to last season with the Commanders, nobody had us going to the NFC Championship game. And I feel like when all the eyes and all the spotlight was not on us, we thrived. This season, everybody, hey, Super Bowl contenders, this and that. They should at least make it back to the playoffs. They should at least make it back to the NFC Championship game. They didn't lose any players. JD had a whole year under his belt. Um, Going into this previous season, that's what we heard for the Commanders, and what happened? A complete and utterly dud. And yes, we're gonna get into that in the upcoming episodes. Yes, we had injuries and this and that, but at the same time, we could not meet those expectations. When it comes to the Wizards, even with these big names and these big moves that we did and our young players gaining experience and us getting a high draft pick in this year's draft, who's going to be looking for us next year? We're still going to have all the doubters because Washington is Washington, and until we prove them otherwise, that's what it's going to be. But at the same time, that's how we like it. That's where we thrive. That's where we have success, is when no one thinks that we're going to win. Everybody is doubting us. And then when you look up and the Wizards are fifth in the East, then it's like, okay. Because do I think we're going to shoot up to number one from 30? No. We're not going to go from worst to first. This is not that. This is not last year's Commanders. It is not going to be that. We still have Detroit to go through. We still have the Knicks. I mean, we still have some teams that it's going to be tough to match up with, but we're gonna be with them though. We're gonna be right there with them. It's not gonna be these blowouts that we seeing this year, you know. So it's definitely going to be more competitive. And another point with all of these trades, with the big names, is that we can get out of them. We can get out of them. Say AD next year is hurt or not playing well. Him and Sar, for whatever reason, is not a good duo. You know, or his attitude not right. He's just not gelling. We could ship you off at the same time next year for somebody else. When maybe Giannis is up again, where the Bucks is actually going to consider getting rid of him. Maybe it's going to be another big man that can blend with us a lot better than AD, and we ship him off, or we just ship AD off for some picks. We're not tied to AD. No, we're not going to give him no contract in the summer. For what? He's due 50 plus mil this year, 60 plus mil next year. What's the point of giving him a new deal when he is always hurt and he has a lot to prove? There's no point. Trae Young. Yes, in his press conference, his attitude is great, saying he wants to work with the young guys, and he wants to do this and do that. Look, I don't give a damn. You need to prove it, first of all. Yes, it was nice words and stuff like that, but we got to see it on the court. And I think he will. But at the same time, if he doesn't, same way how we got you is the same way we can get rid of you. Because at the end of the day, both of these names are big time names. You think a playoff contending team next year won't trade for a Trae Young or AD? Say if AD's even healthy, but he's just not it. You think somebody won't trade for him and give us a first? Come on. So I like that it's a team friendly deal, where we can get out of it. Of course, we had a lot of money because we just had a lot of young players on our team. And then at the same time, we was able to get rid of some of these older players that were just kind of taking up space and time for these young players to really play. Middleton, I was tired of seeing him. What it was like, stop I want to see some. I want to see the young guys develop. I don't need to see you. I've seen you a lot in Milwaukee. Don't need to see you. And now we don't have to. When we had CJ McCollum, why are you playing every night? Don't need to see you. And now we don't have to. It was all in the plan, and I mean, I like that this front office is progressive. They're not sitting back waiting. They're already thinking about 2 years from now. They're not even thinking about this. To me, this year, yes, we probably had a few names where we were predicting a year and two in advance of what players are going to be probably on the trading block. But, you know, I think the deals that we did with Trey Young and AD, we definitely was talking about those during the summer before the season started. We knew Trey Young was probably going to be available, and we're already working towards making that deal happen. We knew we wanted a big man. Did we know AD would be available? No, but we also know that Dallas is a crap show over there. So I like it, man. I like it. And you know, does this make the Wizards contenders next year? I believe so. I believe so. Why not? Because all you have to do is get in the dance. That's all you got to do is show up. You know, back in the day, you going to prom. Hey, you at the prom? All you got to do is get off that wall, go up to somebody. You already there. You know, you already there. So I mean, once you get in, anything can happen. So yes, and especially if we can, um, be in that top four, top five. Oh yeah, of course. Because at the same time, yes, this is going to help our offense, but at the same time, our defense is going to be like that. And when we traded for Trey Young, we thought that our defense was going to take a hit because he's not known for playing defense at all. So it was like, yeah, we got Trey Young, and we got him here for offense primarily. Our defense may take a hit, but then it's like, okay, our defense is going to take a hit, but then you got AD down low with Alex Sarr guarding the paint. That helps out the guards that are guarding up top because at the same time, there's not going to be a lot of guards trying to drive past Trey Young and get to the hole just to get your shot blocked. And I feel like we know that, and we're going to be ready for the kickouts. We still have Koulibaly, who's a great defender, and our coach preaches defense. So I like it, man. I like it. We should be good with rebounds. Trey Young is great with passing the ball and finding open players. Hey, I'm excited, man. Next year could be a special year where the Wizards finally get back on the map. And yeah, man, let me know in the comments what you think about this trade. Do you think that this trade is significant? Do you think that it really pushes the Wizards forward as far as making the playoffs and being more of a serious team going into next year? Or do you think that it's going to be a waste of time? AD is going to be hurt and it's going to be the same old Wizards. Just let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, support the channel, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll be back with another episode for you. And let me know if you want to do this live as well. We could talk about some more news and stuff live, and I can answer more of your questions. So it's going to be exciting, man. Can't wait. Until next time. Peace.